You're listening to Oh My Health, There Is Hope podcast.
When your heart is aching and your world is shaking, don't give up. No, no, don't give up.
Hello and welcome to Oh My Health, There Is Hope. I'm your host, Jana Short, and today I'm here with Spiro Koulouris. Spiro is a leading gout expert, author, and blogger at gout-free.com. He's dedicated his life to inspiring people who obtain a healthy lifestyle and live a gout-free life. Called the rich man's disease, gout is considered one of the most painful of rheumatic conditions and is a rapidly growing problem that affects an alarming number of people. It's greatly affected by diet, and those with the disease are often prescribed drugs that need to be taken for the rest of that person's life. The side effects creating additional problems. Spiro has battled with the disease for years and has dedicated himself to become educated and informed on the subject. He has become an expert in the different home remedies, medicines, health practices, and experiments from around the world. As the founder of gout-free.com, Spiro is intent on educating the gout sufferer in hopes of beating this terrible disease for good. Spiro, we were just talking right before this started, and I've literally had 2 clients reach out to me that are struggling with gout right now. So I'm really excited that you're here today.
Excellent. Yeah. Nice to be here, Gina.
Thank you. One of the first things that we ask you is to share a story of hope, because I really believe that our stories literally go out into the world like heartbeats and start changing things. And so our stories are really powerful. So do you mind sharing your story with us today?
Yeah, my story is the following. I got gout at a young age, 26 years old. It was a night of drinking, I remember, with friends. Went home, and about 3 a.m. I got struck with a gout attack. Excruciating pain in the big toe. You could even put a bed sheet on it. Woke up in the morning, called my doctor, told him I'll be coming in to check it out. I thought I sprained it somewhere during the night, maybe. I went to his office. He checked it out real quick. He said, "You've got gout." I'm like, "What is gout?" He explained to me it's a rheumatic disease, and you show the symptoms of it. I didn't believe it. I was quite shocked, actually. So we did some blood work, and sure enough, my uric acid levels were very high, and it indeed was gout. And that was a shocking moment in my life to get that at a young age. In my case, it's more genetic because I was born with very little thalassemia minor. So that could be the root cause, my doctor told me, of my gout. But for most people, most Americans, gout is usually triggered by bad eating habits, obesity, lots of alcohol. So it's basically something that comes usually ages 50 and over. For most people, it affects mostly men compared to women. Women usually have estrogen protecting their kidneys up until their mid 40s, and after that, their chances of getting gout increases their risk later in life. So I got struck with gout. I couldn't work for a few weeks. I started taking colchicine to get rid of the pain and inflammation. There's a stigma attached to gout, so some friends make fun of you, right? They go to, at that time I was obese. I would say I was 50 pounds overweight. I was eating a lot of McDonald's, drinking a lot of soft drinks, and alcohol because I was young and partying basically. So that was a big wake-up call for me to change my lifestyle and change my diet. So I started diving in and researching more about gout, learning more about the disease and what affects it. And I learned that once you get it, you're forced basically to change your lifestyle and diet, lose the pounds. If not, you'll only deteriorate, meaning you'll get more gout attacks. The medicine will help to control uric acid, but it doesn't give you a free pass to eat whatever you want and continue destroying your health over time, right? So basically, it was a big wake-up call, and that's my story to this day. I started a website about 2013 where I write about gout and all the research I've done. So it's mostly about gout dietary advice. And I would say it's probably one of the biggest sites out there for gout information for gout sufferers. Through that, there's a community we've built up. There's around 50,000 subscribers, big social media presences. So I update my followers on the latest studies, on the latest gout dietary information that comes out, and advice, tips, and so on. And that's where I'm at today.
I love it. Can you, I want to break down exactly what gout is so people understand, because I didn't know what it was. Because if you're not a sufferer, you probably don't understand.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I know it has to do with the buildup of uric acid, but I have no idea how that affects the body.
Yes. So basically, gout affects 2% of the general population approximately. What happens is we all consume purines. Purines is a chemical compound found in foods, all kinds of foods. It's just certain foods have more of it. And when the foods get broken down through the digestive process, it releases uric acid. Everybody releases uric acid in their body. Gout sufferers, by eating excess purines found mostly in meats, alcohol, sugary foods, will produce extra uric acid that the kidneys cannot excrete through urine. And that goes and crystallizes in the joints, and that's how you get a gout attack. So that's what gout is by definition.
So can it affect all your joints? Because most of the people I know who get it,
Yes.
it affects their feet.
It usually affects the majority of the people in the big toe.
Yep.
After that, I would say the knee. Some will report the elbows, the hands, the back, but that's rarer. But for the majority of people, it's the big toe. Yeah.
And I know that it definitely is extremely painful, because I've seen grown men cry from it.
Correct. It is extremely painful. The inflammation lasts for days. It's very extreme, weeks. And you can't walk. You're basically limping around.
So because what you were talking about in your intro, we talked a little bit about the medications you take, and they have their own complications. And I have a very dear friend who's an attorney, and he suffers from gout, and he took the medication, and he literally was in the hospital for almost 2 months and almost didn't survive because of the medication he was taking. In all disclosure, he did not take the medication like he was supposed to take it.
Okay.
And so he tried catching up on it because he was taking a trip. So he over medicated. But the medications that they give you for gout can be extremely dangerous.
Well, colchicine is extremely dangerous. That's why you have to follow doctor's orders with that medication. That medication is more to treat when you get the acute gout. You get the gout attack, it hurts, you take it until the pain leaves. That is highly toxic. So you have to drink a lot of water. A lot of people will suffer from diarrhea. Allopurinol is for long-term maintenance of uric acid levels. So it controls your uric acid levels long-term. Make sure they're below 6 milligrams there in your blood. That drug, some people will report some issues with it, but for the majority of people, it works perfectly fine. Other drugs that could be dangerous are usually corticosteroids, so NSAIDs. That's again to treat the inflammation part when you have acute gout attack.
So I know that people who are suffering from gout, they don't want to have another episode, and you do get flare-ups. What are some of the things, because you talk in there about natural remedies, home remedies that you can do to help prevent or at least extend the length between maybe those episodes that you have? What are some of the things that you recommend?
Drink a lot of water. That helps to flush out excess uric acid levels. So that would be number one. After that, what I talk about mostly on my website on goutandyou.com is a gout diet tailor-made for gout sufferers. So what you have to do is eat 80% of your daily calories as complex carbohydrates. You got to eat fresh vegetables, legumes, 100% whole grain breads, pastas, rices, some fruit. 10% of your daily calories can be in protein. So watch out with the meat intake, because that's what can get you in trouble, because meat is high in purines. So I recommend you stick to lean chicken breast, fresh fish, some red beef, not much. If you do have red beef, make sure it's lean. Turkey is fine because not too much fat. And then completely avoid processed meats, avoid pork, and avoid lobster, seafood. Those foods really raise uric acid levels really high for everybody, not only gout sufferers. And the final 10% of your daily calories can be fat. So you could have some milk, a low-fat yogurt, eggs, butter, and so on. So if you notice, the dangerous part of eating is animal-based foods. So limit the animal-based foods and you'll do fine. So limit the fat and protein. And try and look for plant-based protein. I had burritos the other day, right? Black bean burritos. You could have chickpeas with rice. There's so many recipes you can find on my ebook, by the way, or on my website, or just Google online vegetarian recipes. And slowly get into the habit of changing your lifestyle, changing your diet. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes discipline. It takes practice. And soon enough, you'll be able to control your uric acid levels and not get any more gout attacks.
That would be amazing for people who are suffering from it. Because again, I've had 2 people reach out just this week and I wasn't quite sure what foods triggered it, but I love knowing that mostly plant-based diet is really going to be very helpful. And that's so much help. That's so helpful in so many other areas of your health as well.
Exactly. I have gout sufferers writing me in, telling me you've helped me with my cholesterol, my sugar levels. It helps with all areas of your body and your health. Definitely.
I could tell you another little trick that I have had people use that they have been getting a very quick relief is lemon oil. They've been putting lemon oil in the water, or literally putting a little lemon oil onto their affected area and massaging it in helps release that uric acid, and it's really been helpful. But that's short term, right? Lemon oil is amazing and it does help, but long term is creating those better habits that will have you eating a better diet, drinking more water, and keeping yourself in a better space to keep it away.
Correct. Yeah. And lemon water is a popular gout remedy, actually, because it helps to alkalize the body and keep those pH levels on the right range. Yeah, definitely.
I know I have a motto like the apple a day keeps a doctor away, but a drop or 2 of lemon a day helps keep the gout away. For sure.
That's right.
What are some of the things people can find when they go to your website that's going to help them with this and educate them more? Because I'm all about educating people, because with education comes power.
Yeah, so you'll find a lot of information on different foods. So we'll dive in deep into the different vegetables, different herbs, fruits, food groups like fats, proteins, dairy, and so on. You'll find tons of information there. We'll talk about the medications that are associated with gout suffering for treatments. We'll go into lifestyle, some lifestyle topics, exercise, and so on. Yeah. Other than that, I do have an ebook that dives into the gout diet that I explained, what I call the 80-10-10 diet. And we also have a brand where we sell some dietary supplements to supplement your gout diet. So yeah.
What kind of supplements do you provide for people?
Well, basically, they are herbs that have shown in studies to help cleanse uric acid, help maintain kidney health where uric acid is produced. So basically, NutriGout is our main top seller, and in there you'll find turmeric root, you'll find milk thistle, which helps to cleanse the liver. You'll find dandelion extract, celery seeds, which helps you urinate more often. Bromelain from pineapple, which helps with inflammation, and Shankapriedra, which is popular also herbal, a herb that helps to cleanse uric acid.
That's really great information. I would highly recommend all of you guys check out his ebook, and that they have access to that on your website, right?
Yeah, everything
that'll help you with that diet. So let me just ask the other side of the spectrum. If people ignore that and they don't take care of themselves, other than having the bout of gout, with this, what they call it every now and then, sometimes, and I know everyone wants to avoid that pain. Is there any long-term effects to the body if you do not pay attention to this?
So what happens with gout is you are at an increased risk, if you don't control it properly, of either developing diabetes later on. So you're at risk at that, higher risk. After that, you're at a higher risk of developing heart disease. So that could lead to heart attack or stroke, which is very dangerous. And it could also lead to other diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis. So it's something you want. Once you get it, you want to have it under control. Speak to your doctor. Make sure you do your annual checkups, your blood work annually. Make sure you know where uric acid levels lie every year. And usually you want to lose weight because a lot of gout sufferers are overweight. So it's a good tip to basically speak to a dietitian and have somebody give out some good recipes, hopefully vegetarian recipes, to help you with your change of diet.
So I know one of the things that I hear people having the most trouble with is vacations, right? You're on vacation.
Yes,
What are you doing? You're
yes.
partying up. You're drinking alcohol when you're not doing that on a normal basis. You're eating rich foods from these other beautiful countries or exotic places you're going. Do you have any tips for people who hopefully when the world opens up again, we get back
Yeah.
out there and start traveling?
Yeah, it happened to me. Actually, I had forgotten my medication when I was on a cruise, and that's what exactly happened. I got a gout attack. So what you want to do is make sure you have your medication. Do not forget your medication, especially colchicine if you get an attack. And unfortunately, you still have to be disciplined. You gotta avoid the heavy meals, lots of meat intake, alcohol intake. And if you do, I recommend you take, usually a doctor will prescribe you allopurinol for the gout sufferer. That helps to control the uric acid levels long term. Colchicine will only be prescribed if you get an attack, but I'd ask your doctor to, if you can take some colchicine during that week, if you want to have that extra alcoholic beverages, eat a bit excessively, just so you don't get a gout attack while you're away, definitely.
So I
And
know
drink
that
lots of water.
totally drink lots of water. One of the things that most our listeners are always listening for is they're trying to avoid medications. And by the way, I sometimes feel that medications work beautifully with Western and Eastern medicine combined is great. And some of you have to be on that medication because you're going to get such severe gout that you need to be on that preventative medication. But for those of you who maybe that do not need to be, what are some of the tips, like lemon in your water when you travel?
Mm-hmm.
I do not suffer from gout, but I never leave this country without my lemon because I just pop it in my water, my little drops, and it helps purify the water and pushes everything out of my system and helps me feel great. But what are some holistic things that maybe they can do while they're traveling?
Yeah, I have a lot of writers that uh, that write to me that they're not on the medication and they're beating gout naturally. It is very possible. For the majority, it's mostly genetic. So in that case, it's more difficult. If you ever want to experiment and you do not want to be on the medication, I always advocate that you speak with your doctor and work with your doctor
100%.
to basically measure your uric acid levels more frequently and see if the diet is working for you in your body, and make sure those uric acid levels are low, because if not, you're going to get a painful gout attack and you'll be limping for a few weeks. So you want to avoid that. So a few remedies that are very popular with gout is apple cider vinegar. You could have that daily, either as a capsule. I take it as a supplement. That helps with the digestive process to break down purines and alkalizes the body. So apple cider vinegar, you could put 2 tablespoons in water and drink it every day. A lot of gout sufferers write that in when they contact me and they tell me that works. Others will say baking soda. Others have experimented with baking soda. They'll take a little baking soda with water every day, and that helps to alkalize their body and their pH levels and control the uric acid. Lemon water obviously is a popular one. Cherries. Gout sufferers love eating cherries. That helps. There's high antioxidants, and I have a tart cherry extract supplement that we sell as well that a lot of gout sufferers swear by. So cherries, while in season, eat them fresh. I have about 20 a day, usually when they're in season. Other foods that are popular for remedies, I would say ginger. That helps with inflammation in the joints and that digestion process as well. And there's many more. They all add up, basically. So I would recommend visit our site, goutinu.com, and you're going to get plenty of tips there.
And Spiro, thank you so much for giving us that disclaimer. By the way, Eastern medicine works best when you collaborate with your doctor. So I don't want anyone going off their medication thinking, oh, I'm going to go buy a bunch of cherries and get some apple cider vinegar. You get off your medication when your doctor says you're there, right? Like, let's experiment with this, see how it goes. I'll help monitor that. And when you're there, I'll let you know. So I don't want anyone jumping off their medication and then, phoning in like they had a gout bout.
Exactly. Personally, I was on 300 milligrams of allopurinol, and with diet, I decreased it to 100 milligrams daily. So it does work when you control your diet and you follow some natural remedies, definitely.
That's exactly how I got off all my medications, is through seeing my doctor and him reducing it until I was off of everything. So that is the best way to do this. So is there anything else that they can do when they come to the website? Is there a questionnaire? How can they contact you if they have questions?
They can sign up. Yeah, they can sign up for a free newsletter, and there they will get all the latest updates on gout news, my latest blog posts, and other information for gout sufferers. And you can follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, we're everywhere, YouTube, and get the latest gout information around the world. Yeah.
Well, Spiro, we're going to put all of your information in there so you guys can go get his newsletter. I would sign up for his newsletter, because whenever you can get free information that's going to educate you and give you more power to control the situation.
And I answer all emails. So please email me if you have any gout related question. I'll answer emails within 24 hours, guaranteed.
What an amazing resource. I'm so grateful that you came on the show, because again, 2 people just reached out to me with asking me questions like, I don't know much about gout, except for I tell people use lemon oil and drink lots of water. I have no idea what causes it. I don't really know. I just know that it hurts their feet.
Yeah. Very painful.
So thank you. Go ahead.
I was going to say, for why they call it rich man's disease, which is very interesting for your audience. Some people won't know the history of that. Well, back in the 1700s, 1600s, gout was something that usually afflicted royalty, the kings and queens of England, France, and so on. And why would it affect them more is because they were the ones that could afford and had access to rich foods, lots of meat, lots of wine, right, lots of alcohol, whereas the peasants only had access to complex carbohydrates, whatever would grow in their farm, right? So that's where that term came of rich man's disease, because it was only the rich that were getting it at a certain point in time in history. King Henry had it, and some other kings in France, and so on. So just wanted to tell you a little background on that term.
I love that. I thought it was because when they ate lobster, they got seriously, because I'm afraid every time they eat lobster, they get gout. And
lobsters
must be very hard.
Yeah.
So I thought it was because I could afford lobster. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. We're going to put all of your links there. Go grab his ebook, grab his diet, his 80-10-10 diet, and look at the herbs. And if you have questions about it, ask him, like, where else can you go and get amazing advice from somebody who's lived it and is now educating on it. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Jana.
Thanks for listening to the Oh My Health, There Is Hope podcast. Make sure to visit Jana's website, bestholisticlife.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Google Play, or listen there, so you'll never miss an episode. While you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you simply tell a friend about the show, that'll help too. Let's change the world together, one health expert at a time. Looking forward to seeing you next time.